Today, we're diving into a survival strategy that is so extreme, it almost seems to defy logic. It's a story that ends, for half the entire population, with a guaranteed, perfectly timed death.
So let me ask you this. What if every single father died after just one mating season? You get one frantic chance to pass on your genes, and then that's it. It sounds like something out of a science fiction movie, right?
Well, it's not science fiction at all. For one tiny marsupial, this isn't some crazy hypothetical. It is the absolute, unshakable reality of its life.
So let's frame this as a kind of biological whodunit. The victims? An entire generation of males every single year. The big question is why?
It's time to meet the subject of our mystery, the red-tailed phascogale. It's a small carnivorous marsupial, and its entire life is built around a fatal secret.
So what exactly are we looking at here? Well, it's a dasyurd, which means it's in the same family as the Tasmanian devil and quolls. And yeah, it might look a little bit like a mouse, but you can't miss that fiery red tail that ends in a black brush. And I mean it when I say they are tiny. And just to give you a sense of scale, take a look at this. On the left, that's our little red-tailed phascogale. On the right, that's its closest relative, the brush-tailed phascogale, which is more than double its size. So we are talking about a very, very small but very energetic hunter. These little guys are arboreal. That means they live in trees, and you'll only find them in a small patch of Western Australia. They love dense forests and mostly eat insects. But, they're not picky. They'll happily hunt small mice, birds, and even other small marsupials. And this brings us right to the heart of our mystery, the phascogale's incredibly brutal and honestly fascinating way of making sure there's a next generation. Now, the scientific term for this is semelparity. You can think of it as a go big or go home approach to reproduction. You get one shot, one single chance, and that is it. And for the male phascogale, it's a fatal final act. Let's just walk through this tragic life cycle. The males are ready to mate at just 11 months old. Then, around June, this frenzied 2 to 3 week mating season kicks off. Their bodies are just flooded with insane levels of stress hormones, like cortisol. This physiological overload causes their immune systems to completely collapse. And soon after mating, every single male dies. It is a complete, totally predictable die-off, year after year. And the result of all this male sacrifice? Well, the females can give birth to an enormous litter. We're talking as many as 13 babies at once. But this creates a brand new, very immediate problem. Because even though she might have up to 13 newborns, the mother only has 8 teats. So from the very second they are born, it becomes a literal race for life. The first 8 babies to find a teat and latch on get to live. The others, tragically, don't make it. It's a brutal but incredibly effective form of natural selection right from the start. And the females? Oh, they have their own clever strategy. Genetic studies show they mate with a bunch of different males and can even store the sperm. What's the result? A single litter can actually have multiple fathers, which maximizes the genetic diversity of her kids. It's an incredible biological hedge fund, really. So all of this leads to the one central question, why? I mean, why would evolution ever favor a strategy that guarantees every single male dies every single year? Let's dig into the science. It just seems completely backwards, doesn't it? It goes against everything we think we know about survival. But, a strategy like this doesn't evolve by accident. There has to be an advantage. So the leading theory is that it's an extreme adaptation to a really harsh life. In their unpredictable world, a male's chance of even surviving to a second breeding season was probably incredibly low anyway. So evolution seems to have selected for an all-or-nothing strategy. Invest every last bit of energy into one massive, final reproductive push. And the best evidence we have for this idea comes from studying them in captivity. Out in the wild, the male die-off is absolute, 100%. But in captivity, they almost never die after the breeding season. They do, however, become permanently infertile. And that right there tells us almost everything. The stable conditions of captivity, plenty of food, no predators, it removes that intense environmental stress. Without that pressure cooker, their bodies don't produce that fatal surge of hormones, which allows them to survive, even if they can't breed again. So we have this unbelievable animal with this one-of-a-kind survival strategy.
But that same harsh environment that shaped its evolution is now threatening its very existence. The red-tailed phascogale is currently listed as vulnerable, and the main threats are, sadly, ones we're all familiar with. Their habitat is being broken up by land clearing, there are frequent fires, and they're being hunted by introduced predators like cats and foxes.
But there is some really good news here. Captive breeding programs are making reintroductions possible. There was a successful release back in 2007, and then another one in 2009. And get this, just 5 years after that second release, the new population had grown so much it started spreading beyond the sanctuary's borders, which is a fantastic sign of success.
This animal has evolved one of the most extreme survival strategies on the planet. It's a real testament to life's tenacity. And while these conservation efforts are showing real promise, the threats are still out there. So the question for us is, can we protect the fragile habitat that this remarkable creature depends on and make sure its incredible story continues?